Hello everyone, welcome back to Rebekah's Reading Corner. Hope you all are doing well. Today I decided to do something a little bit different. Usually I talk about the books I have read or want to read, so I thought it would be interesting to talk about the books I probably will never read and give you reasons why. So a bit of a disclaimer, this video is in no way any hate to these books or the people who enjoy them. They are just personally not for me for one reason or another. So if you love these books, that's totally fine. I'm just giving my own personal opinions on why I won't be reading them. With that in mind, let's get into the list. First on the list we have Dune, written by Frank Herbert. This one is mostly to do with the volume of pages involved. It's about 900 pages long, and I've read a book similar in length. I believe it was the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson. That book is about 1,000 pages long, and it took me a very long time to read. I'm not a very fast reader, mostly on the basis of I just have a very busy schedule. I don't get a lot of free time to read, even though I love reading, so reading a book of that length took me almost like 7 months, just because, I couldn't sit down for hours at a time and read it. So Dune for me, I think, would take a very long time. Plus, I have seen both versions of the movie, the 1984, no relation to George Orwell, and the 2021 version with Willy Wonka. Silence! And I enjoyed both versions of the movie, but not enough to make me want to read the book and devote that much time into one book specifically. The next one on the list was published about a decade before Dune. It's Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Now this one, I actually started reading it in high school for a English class book project. And I got a few chapters in and I was bored enough that I decided I wasn't going to be able to finish it in time and instead switched books entirely for the project. So on that note, I'll never finish that book. I'm not very easily bored by books. It takes quite a lot for me to find a book boring, but this one did it. So I will never pick it up again. Now to get a little bit more contemporary, the next one is quite popular in the book talk community. It's Beach Read by Emily Henry, and it was actually published right around the emergence of book talk in 2020. It reached its peak popularity in June of that year, and it was like all over social media. Now everyone knows the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover, but the cover of this book is part of the reason I'm not going to read it, because it has that illustrative look that I really don't like. Whenever I see a cover with an illustration of people on it, I tend to avoid those kinds of books. I can give some examples of what I'm talking about here. When I see this kind of cover, I tend to stray away from it just because I know it's gonna fall into that contemporary romance genre, and that's generally a genre I don't really enjoy as much as others. And so for that reason, I usually don't read books with this style of cover. However, I have been branching out more recently and giving this sort of genre more of a chance, and there have been books in this category that I enjoy. So this is one that maybe in the future I might change my mind, but for now it's a no. Now, if the last one was popular on Book Talk, this one was even more so, at least from what I had seen. It's The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book was everywhere. You couldn't scroll on any book community on social media and not see this book pop up in some sort of recommendation. The book was published in 2017, but it reached its peak popularity like 2 years ago, 2022. And at first, I was intrigued by the premise, and when I saw it, I was like kind of interested in reading it, but I think I got so desensitized to it and so annoyed seeing it pop up over and over again that I kind of lost interest in it. I just don't think I'll ever pick it up. Now, I can already feel the stones being thrown at me for this next one, but any Colleen Hoover book ever. Now, I've seen excerpts of her books through Book Talk or BookTube. And to me, honestly, the problem I have with it is the quality and the style of the writing itself. The content of the books is very mature in the topics that it covers, like abuse and violence, addictions, and there's plenty of sex scenes as well, so it's more suited for a mature audience. But the style and the quality of the writing makes it more adjacent to books for a younger audience. But I even think the quality of the writing itself is not very strong. I really have no interest in reading just based on the writing I have seen. And so I think it would just really take me out of the story itself. That's not even mentioning the many controversies that Colleen Hoover has been in the recent years. So I just think supporting her in any way financially is a no for me. Then we have Twilight by Stephenie Meyer. Now, I have watched all of the Twilight movies, and I think they're fun. I enjoy sitting down to watch it with some friends to have a laugh about the ridiculous plot points. When Twilight was in its peak popularity, I was in middle school having a very strong not like the other girls phase, and so I wanted nothing to do with Twilight. I probably would have enjoyed it, actually, when I was in middle school, to be honest. Would it be my cup of tea now? No. So I kind of missed my window, but I was too concerned with being different that I didn't read Twilight. Now, I know some of you are going to probably shed some tears for this next one, but it's the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan, and I was just never a Greek mythology kid. I was an Egyptian mythology kid. And so I didn't really care too much about Zeus and Poseidon and Hades and what they were getting up to. It just really had no interest for me in that area. And now I know he does have an Egyptian mythology series, so I think maybe that one would be cool, but just never too interested in it. Now, I have to give some credit to Miss Hoover because she's not the only problematic author on the list, and that leads us to our last book series, which belongs to J.K. Rowling. That's right. I will never read Harry Potter. Now, I do enjoy the movies quite a lot, and I've rewatched them a few times, but I think going forward, I'm gonna maybe see if I can find them secondhand, like as DVDs, so I can go on enjoying them without any guilt. When I was younger, I was not allowed to read Harry Potter. My parents were in the
witchcraft bad, real spells going to corrupt our children
sort of house of thought, so I wasn't really allowed to read Harry Potter or watch the movies. However, it's very funny because now Harry Potter is one of my family's favorite franchises. So I guess it just took a little while. But now that I am allowed to read them, I'm not really in the target demographic anymore. And I know you can read books that are lower than your reading level, but I don't really enjoy doing that as much as other people do. And so for me, I just don't think I would enjoy it as much as I did back when I was in that target demographic. So that concludes my list of books that I will probably never read. Again, if you love these books, that's awesome. And I'm so glad that there's literature out there that you enjoy. These were just based on my own personal preferences. And I just thought it would be interesting to share my thoughts on the subject. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm hoping that this summer I can post more often. I have some really fun ideas that I'm excited to share with you guys. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys all in the next one.